So with the Iconia B1 from Acer's Hardware, I was actually really impressed. For a £99 tablet, bearing in mind, normally we don't get the best looking screens, we don't get very bright backlights, we don't get well milled ports, or things that are actually flush, button placements that are a bit weird, etc. And what we actually have in this Acer for £99 is a very well thought out bit of kit. Obviously there's compromises, there always has to be as you drop the price point. Plastic screen, for instance, the screen is slightly recessed, and because of the plastic screen on here, it is quite reflective. So you will find that direct sunlight is a bit of a problem, but the backlight is reasonable enough to compensate, although it's not the brightest out there, but it does the job. Your buttons are on the side here. You've got your power button, volume rockers, and a noise canceller. On the bottom here, you've got the SD card slot and a USB jack, and that's your speaker there. Now, the speaker itself, I found it to be a little bit on the tinny side. It kind of vibrates a little bit when you're playing games at reasonably high volume, which, fair enough, it is quite a small speaker grill. This finishing around the outside of this blue colour actually is okay, and it doesn't look too silly, and it doesn't stand out too much, although this thing on the corner here, this Iconia badge, I could do without that, frankly. I think it's just a sticky label, you could just peel that off if you wanted to. The 0.3 megapixel camera on the front, it's not brilliant, but again, are you really buying this to take photographs with? No, you're not. It's a media device at the end of the day. One thing I did find, which is very common to these lower priced tablets, is, not sure if you can hear that, but just some give and flex in the plastic. And whilst it's not too bad, it's a little bit irritating when you're playing a game, and it kind of feels like the unit is flexing a little bit. But again, it's completely made of plastic, and it's £99. I can forgive an awful lot when, as you're going to see coming up, this thing absolutely smokes the competition. Hi everyone, so here we are with the Acer Iconia B1, an 8GB Wi-Fi enabled Android tablet. Now, this particular tablet is rather special. It's £99 at retail. So you can walk into a shop today and buy this for £99, and do you know what's even better about it? It doesn't suck. I think Acer might have achieved something I've been going on about for about a year now. The point where we actually reach a £99 tablet that you wouldn't mind giving to your grandmother. As in, she's not just going to look at it and go, why are you giving me this piece of junk? The Iconia B1 is packing a MediaTek 1.2 GHz dual-core processor, and let me tell you, it's no slouch. I've been playing a few games on it, and this £99 tablet can game. 8GB of onboard memory for storing everything on there, and crucially, it does have an SD card slot at the bottom, so you can expand it. Brilliant. There's 512 of onboard memory for actually booting up your apps and allowing them to run, and that's not a lot, but as you're going to see, it's just about enough to play some of the latest games that have come onto the market. Certainly I've just been playing Temple Run 2 and there's no problem. You've got a 7-inch WSVGA TFT that's running at 1024 by 600, so you're not looking at a high pixel density on this one, or pixels per inch, but again, it doesn't look bad. In comparison to the 99 tablets we were looking at just before Christmas, this screen is workable. You're going to be able to use it quite nicely. It is plastic screen, and unfortunately it picks up fingery smudges very, very easily, and also it's quite reflective. You'll be able to see here as it's being tilted back and forwards, absolutely dead on. It's very clear and crisp, but the moment you get any sunlight there, it does start to reflect quite badly. Certainly you're going to have issues using this outdoors, I would say. At the moment this is on the highest brightness setting. You've got a 0.3 megapixel front facing camera. It's pretty poor, as you can imagine, for a front-facing camera, but it's going to be just about good enough for you doing your Skype or a Google Hangout. It does have GPS built in, which I thought was a really nice touch. Wi-Fi 802.11b GNN, Bluetooth 4, although I haven't had a chance to have a look yet and just see how much of this 4 standard is being fully supported. MicroSD card slot that I've mentioned, and a rechargeable battery. Now, the battery itself in this is on the small side, but I think it's just about doable. I was able to drain the battery down from about 60% in an hour and a half doing some gaming, which you could probably say, but you know, I was playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City at the time, so not exactly the easiest going game out there when it comes to you know, pulling on your battery. So what are we running? Well, it's running Jelly Bean, which is absolutely fantastic. So there's no ice cream sandwich on this. This is running the latest version of Jelly Bean. It's 4.1.2, so it's not the 4.2 release, but I would expect, given that when I turned this on, it already had an update waiting for me from Acer, it does look like they're going to be keeping this nice and up to date. So it has all of the standard Jelly Beany stuff going on that comes in 4.1.2. You've got your home screen, you've got your Google search up at the top, you've got access to your app tray here, which I haven't actually been into yet. As you can see, this isn't a slouch of an interface. It's running really, really nipply on here. And yeah, there's some slight slowdowns in the redraw, but other than that, I found that it's passable. There are tablets out there costing twice as much that have much worse interface lag than this does. If we just bring up the Play Store, for instance, you can see no particular slouching on that. It's not hanging around and lagging out as it's moving between these screens. It's perfectly happy. There's some small slowdown there while it was loading the graphics and trying to scroll at the same time, but I really can't fault it. Let's benchmark. So what you're seeing here basically is a fly-through of the Citadel level, and it's being used to calculate how many frames per second are able to be drawn onto the screen of this 3D scene. And because this is the Unreal Engine, it's not exactly the lightest weight game engine you're going to find running on any mobile platform. And as you can see, this is gameable. Do you know what I mean? If you're hitting around 24 to 30 frames a second, yeah, it might feel a little bit laggy in places, but it's still playable. Bearing in mind also we are running this on the highest settings. If I drop this down onto the performance setting, it quite happily hits about 45 frames a second, more than comfortable for the majority of games. For a £99 tablet, Acer, you're getting a round of applause. You've done it. First company to produce a convincing gaming laptop at £99. See, this is a very high fill scene. It does struggle quite a bit at this point, but I say this is on the highest settings available for this particular benchmark, so we should expect it to scream just a little bit. As our results, 25.6 at 1024 by 552 at the highest quality. This is not a tablet that you can kind of say, oh, I can't game on this. You can game comfortably on this, and with a wide variety of games. So let's prove that right now. Hi everyone. Okay, here is the Acer Iconia B1, a £99 tablet, and it's about to play Need for Speed Most Wanted. Anybody feel like taking a bet on how well it's going to do? £99 tablet? I'm feeling very confident. Let's go. And as you can see, absolutely no problem. The £99 tablet does a very, very good job at playing Need for Speed Most Wanted. Absolutely stunning. The frame rate is absolutely spot on. Interestingly, I would say they have really optimised this game for dual-core processors, because this is actually working, in my opinion, on par with what I'm seeing on the Galaxy Note 2 quad-core system that doesn't really feel like it's been well optimised for this game engine. Hello everyone. Okay, here we are with Dead Trigger on the Iconia B1 by Acer. Again, this is a £99 tablet. And it works very, very well. You're obviously not going to have the same level of graphic fidelity as you would get from the game running on, say, Tegra, the Tegra 3 system, so no water effects, no smoke or anything like that, basic lighting, but the game is infinitely playable and the frame rate is fine, absolutely spot on in fact. So again, another win for the £99 tablet. It's now increasingly looking like you can kind of say, the Nexus 7 has a good rival here. Make you kind of think, ooh, do I need to drop that extra 60 quid and get the Nexus 7, or with this £99 tablet, fill the void? Certainly I think for young people, kids, etc., where you really don't want to hand them a more expensive tablet, this is absolutely the winner. Hi everyone, okay, here's Temple Run 2 on the Acer Iconia B1. This is a £99 tablet playing Temple Run, and as you can see, it's gloriously fast. You really can't fault this. This is absolutely spot on. Exactly what you want from a tablet, and a gaming tablet at that, and more importantly at a price point that frankly you could buy one of these for your kids and not worry about it too much if they accidentally smash it to bits. It only costs 99 quid. And the kids aren't going to throw it back at you saying I can't play games on it. There's some £99 tablets I've seen out there that can barely do Angry Birds, so to have something that is pushing 3D like this, fantastic. There you go. I mean, this is one of the latest and greatest games to come out onto the Android store, the Play Store, and it works flawlessly on a £99 tablet. There you go. So let's have a quick look at the settings on the Acer Iconia B1. It's all standard Jelly Bean, so everything that you might be already aware of from Android is already here. So your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and data usage settings are up at the top here. Sound, display, storage, your battery and your apps. In your apps, that is where you can uninstall apps if you're not familiar with the Android operating system. Sound and display, sound basically, how loud everything is going to be. Also what notifications you'll have set up. Display, as you'll see, your brightness, your wallpaper, how quickly you go to sleep, and what font size you're going to be using on your screen. So with battery life, it shows you how much battery life you've got left, and basically how much charge is currently on the battery and how long you've been using it for, where those items are draining. You can also refresh that in real time if you like. Location is all about the GPS, or using the Wi-Fi assisted GPS, which can also be used to detect where you are. You can turn those settings off in there. If you're interested in keeping your battery life looking good, turn these items off if you're not using them. Security is your screen lock, as well as administrator access and your passwords and trusted credentials, installed from SD card, all of the features that basically keep your Android device secure. You can turn those on or off. Language and input for those people that need to switch the language around or change your keyboard, it's all in there. Backup and reset, where you can basically back up your core Google settings and also reset the device completely as well back to factory. Google accounts, so your Google account you'll always set up when you actually turn your device on for the first time, and you've got an ad account, so you can add another Google account, or once you've installed some apps, Facebook, Twitter and so on. Tools are for those of us that like to get down and dirty in our Android operating system, and we can do things like our debugging and so on. So that's the general settings. Other than that, you do have the general Google Android features going on in here. So Google Maps is present, Gmail is present, Google Plus is there. I think I might actually trigger the install for that myself. Chrome installed. You've also got Google Music, the Play Store, Talk, the YouTube, brilliant. Subscribe. Do subscribe if you're watching this while I'm mentioning YouTube. You've got your contact system in there, access to Google Books, Google Magazines and Google Movies. Basically, if it's in Jelly Bean as standard, it's available on the Acer Iconia when you turn the device on for the first time. You've also got access to the standard Google browser. Don't bother with it, get Chrome, it's brilliant. And the current system, which is like an up-to-date news magazine from Google, rounding up all of the best news stories going on around the place. Just a fantastic tablet.